Hello team! I am fast approaching the 18-month mark for building my container house, and I'm getting loads of questions about what's next on the build, what do I plan to do in the future, how long will it take to complete the build, and of course, the biggest question, am I sticking to budget? So I think it's time I get you up to date and answer all of these questions because you're part of the team, you need to know. I asked people to ask me questions on Instagram so that I could answer them here in this video. So I have a whole bunch here that I can answer. Wow, it is windy down by the river. I do just have to mention why I've got this because this may look a little bit strange, which is granted, it is a bit strange. I bought what I thought was a new frozen drink maker machine. Turns out you need ice, it's just an ice shaver machine. So I'm just left with this. So let's dive straight into it. Okay, what have we got? Okay, straight off the bat, I knew this question was gonna get asked, and I thought it was probably gonna get asked first because this is one of my most common questions that I get asked all the time, which makes sense because it is a container house. So the question is, how are you planning to insulate the container house? This is a very important question because obviously you insulate all houses, but for a container home, there's really only one way you should go. Every other way probably isn't gonna cut it. Because it's metal, it's definitely gotta be closed cell spray foam. 100% closed cell spray foam. This is because it sweats, basically. The container sweats. So if you don't use that, you've gotta try put in sweat holes, which is to allow all the sweat, so all the condensation to come out of the sweat holes. But I mean, it's still gonna go in, it's still gonna sweat, it's still going to make your insulation wet and then lead to mold eventually in the walls of your house, which you do not want, of course. So the only way to get around that is to use closed cell spray foam. It also has the added benefit of giving so much structure to the house as well. I've gone a bit overboard with structure, but it's just gonna add even more to it, which is never a bad thing. I'm really lucky I don't live in an area where there's any real kind of natural disasters apart from the big one, which is bushfires. And there is a lot of bushfires in this area, hence the container house, and hence the use of a lot of steel. Steel is kind of what needs to be used in the area. There is absolutely no timber houses really rolling around because they're all mainly shed looking houses because there is so many fires. There is a huge fire risk and you need to follow like strict fire regulations as well. So to answer that, closed cell spray foam. Now I can't do this, so there is this period that I'm gonna have where things need to happen in a certain order and I'm almost up to it now, and that means so I need the plumber to come in and I'm basically ready for that stage, almost. I've got like a couple more things to do and I'll be ready for that stage. The plumber will come in and that is before framing. Before framing. And he's gonna come in and just do some like little jobs. He said it wasn't huge. I'm guessing hopefully hooking up the gutters to the rainwater tank, which would be fantastic. Although I feel like I've kind of made his job a little bit difficult by putting the deck around first. So I might have to offer to dig out that area for him if it is a problem, which it's probably going to be. So the plumber will come in before framing. I will frame, and then before I do spray foam, I need to have the plumber come in again. I need the electrician to come in for the first time as well. And then I will be able to spray foam. Right, let's move on to the second question. What do we have? All right, the second question I was asked, so I'm literally just going in order here because they're actually just all really good questions. The second one is, have you planned the build around the possibility of having kids in the future? Such a good question. I would have to say no, I didn't. But I didn't not either. Like I didn't actually think about it at all, to be quite honest. If you don't know, this build was all by necessity and not choice. I had to leave a rental up at the top of Australia where I'd set up my whole entire life. I had a business. I was the owner of a school there, a bush school, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, basically it was after COVID. I had to move out of this rental and there was nowhere else no other places that I could move to in the area. So I had to move across Australia, right down the other side. And basically my thinking was, I don't want that to happen again. So I don't want to get another rental. I've been moving throughout rentals my entire life. Like I moved out of home when I was 15, and then after school it was just rental for 1 year. I've done 6 months. The most I ever did was 2 years, but that was once. So I usually bop around quite a lot, and it's usually because you know, the owners decide to sell, or it's not all like the 6 month one. It was just the only one I could get, and they could only offer 6 months because then they were going to sell after 6 months. So I just basically got to this point where I was like, I put so much time into those rentals too. Like I developed the gardens and I developed the houses so nice, and I was like, gosh, I don't want to do it anymore. Like I've done it so many times, probably going on 10 times or something. I was like, I just don't know if I have the energy to do it anymore. So my decision was, I'm going to find a house with what I had saved, which wasn't a huge amount, but I was like, this is just better if I just find a place and then I won't have to leave and I can build a life there. But then when I was looking at all the houses for the budget that I had, I was like, I can't do that, because I lived in a place that was so wild and free and out in the bush every single day, and these places were tiny little places in suburbs with absolutely no backyard, and I was just like, I can't do it to me, I can't do it to Django. And yeah, so that's when I started going, well, could I get land and like build like a really small house type thing? And then I found kid homes, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's kid homes, this could be possible, they're cheap. And then I was like, well, who builds the kid home? But you'd have to pay them. And then I was like, wait, can I build the kit home? And then I was like, oh my gosh, you can build the kit home. I was like, well, what else could I build? And then I found out you could build anything. And so that's how it all came to be. And I landed on containers because of the fire risk area, because secondhand containers are very cheap, because steel is cheaper in my area than timber, and also because I had no experience. So in my non-experienced brain, I was thinking they're already boxes, you know, and so I just thought, well, they're already boxes, how hard can it be? Fast forward to now, it's obviously a little bit trickier than I originally thought. But no, that was the long answer, but the short answer is no, I didn't really plan it around kids. Just let the wind pass. But it also does have the potential to have space for kids. I mean, you can put a load of kids in a tiny home with you and it'd be fine. But it's also, something that you could add on to as well. There's lots of space on the property. You could always do extensions, other buildings, whatever you wanted. Next question number 3. Let's see if the third one is also a good one. Ooh. Oh. What is your least favorite task so far? Ooh. This is a good one. Now I'm trying to think. What comes to mind first is rust removal, and then I'm like, well, am I just thinking about that though because I've just done it? But let me think back, because all the other ones are kind of exciting, you know. Rust removal is very not exciting and very gross and just time consuming, and you get covered in it, it makes you itchy. And then you still have a lot of work to do to the steel after you've removed the rust, like the painting, it's the fun part, you know. So it may be rust removal, I think, because at least with everything else, it was hard, it was tricky. The windows actually, I don't know, that's hard actually. The windows were close to being the death of me. That was because it just went on for so long, and being in the containers with all that paint was really horrible. But the thing with the windows is I got to like transform them, and they're such a but see, you do that with the rust removal as well. It's either the windows or the rust removal. Maybe windows because it went on for longer. Sorry, windows. Okay, this is a really simple, easy one, but a lot of people might want to know because I haven't really I've spoken about the layout of my house and I've kind of done walkarounds and tours, but there's no actual like drawing out there. So this question is, how many rooms will your house have? So bedroom wise, it's going to have 2 bedrooms. Bathroom wise, it's gonna have 2 bathrooms, one upstairs, one downstairs. Upstairs, it is literally just my ensuite bathroom and my bedroom and like the stairwell. And then downstairs, you go down the stairwell, and next to that is gonna be the spare bedroom and then the second bathroom. And then out in that big open space, there is going to be the lounge room, the kitchen, and kind of like a little dining area next to the kitchen. And then I've just got all the spacious wraparound deck area, and then also the rooftop deck area, which is going to be a massive amount of space, and a lot is going to be going on the deck as well. I'm thinking bathtubs and all that kind of stuff on the deck. So yeah, it's going to be, the deck's a lot bigger than the house, but the house is going to have a lot of hidden features as well, and a lot of secret charm. It's quite exciting. I'm really actually quite excited to move on to doing the inside of the house, because there's very interesting things happening there, like very interesting things, and I can't wait to tell you about them because they're different, you know. Right, let's do one more and then I'm going to go grab a jumper. Hardest thing I've had to build so far. Hardest thing I've had to build so far. It's gotta be the foundations or the wraparound deck. The foundations was right at the start, so I literally had no experience, which made it a lot harder. But it was also just a crazy hard job. It was summer, and it was the end of summer as well, so my ground is clay, so it was rock hard cement, and I had to dig massive holes, like huge giant holes in this rock hard ground, and I didn't have enough money to have the excavator for more than 2 days. The excavator even couldn't eat into it. It's ridiculously hard ground, so that was really tough, like really tough. But then same thing with the wraparound deck with the ground screws. I was excited because it was ground screws, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so much easier than having to like dig holes for footings. Not easier at all. Same thing, could not get into the ground. So that was a whole process, you know, working how to drill through the ground and then actually doing it. That was also in the middle of summer. I seem to do jobs to do with the rock hard ground and hard jobs in summer. So yeah, it's definitely got to be one of those, the wraparound deck or the foundations. All right, let's go grab a jumper and maybe move to the jetty. Just one quick one that I just read before I head back up to grab a jacket. Do I need council approval to do this? That is a giant yes. Yes, and that was definitely one of the longest parts. It was 8 to 10 months of planning and approval so that I can build my container house. I needed a draftsman, engineer, energy assessor, building assessor, bell assessment. There was like literally so many things that I had to get done. People that wrote things about like they're going to do my termite spraying and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of requirements, and it took a long time, but you definitely need council approval. And then they will also give you on that approval, it'll say when you need inspections throughout the build as well. So there are certain times throughout the build that I'm going to need inspections. I've already had a couple, and I'm kind of been at this stage where I don't need any for a long time until I basically get that framing up, and then they're going to come in and check all my framing basically. Yeah, basically yes, you do need approval, you do need inspections, all of that kind of jazz. Moved up to the jetty, and it seems to be a little less windy here, so I'll see how I'll go for temperature. Let's get to the next question. Do you have a time frame to move in? Well, this is a tricky one. When I started, I honestly thought, like really thought, with like buying the land, getting approval, building everything, getting everything done and moving in, I thought it would be 12 months tops. And then it took 8 to 10 months to get the building approval and do all the planning and all that. So that's when I realized I probably don't have a very good idea on time frame for these kind of things. I just know that I am moving as fast as possible. I work non-stop 7 days a week, and I could not work any more hours or any harder or faster if I wanted to. So I just know it's going to get done as fast as humanly possible, dependent on how fast I can work alone. Oh my gosh, the flies. And how quickly things like the plumber and the electrician take. I don't know if I have to wait for those, I'm not too sure, so we'll see. But I mean, I'm trying to get it done as fast as possible. I really hope it doesn't take any longer than a year, because that would be sad. So as fast as humanly possible is the time frame. I know that's not too helpful, but it is the best I've got so at the moment. Next one. Do you come from a family of expert DIYers? What was your experience before starting this? And some of you probably know this, but absolutely not. I came from, there's no DIYers in my family, and I had absolutely no experience either. I don't have any tradie mates that could help me out. The only person I know that's in trades whatsoever is a mechanic, and yeah, that's about it. I have literally just been learning each step as I go and just jumping in with like 2 feet at a time, just going straight in for it, looking up everything. I've always been into reading and learning and all that kind of stuff, so it's fun for me. I like to do it, and yeah, so nah, it's just no experience, just going straight in, grabbing the bulls by the horn and taking the leap, I guess. But I've learnt so much along the way already, and that shows when you just go for it. You know, that is just part of the journey, and then you will gain the skills, you will gain the experience along the way. And I know after I build this house, I'm gonna build some pretty incredible things, and I'm gonna have skills that are gonna last me a lifetime, all just because I said, yeah, it's all right, you don't have experience, but still, you can do it, go for it. And because I did that, now I've got these skills that I'm going to be able to utilize. So I think it's always important to remember that you've got to start somewhere, and you know, every great artist or great engineer or great anything started with no experience. So take the leap, go for it, it's worth it. Next question. This is a good one. Do you have a plan for a next project after the build? And yes, I've had this plan since before I started building the house. It was always my plan to build 2 tiny houses as well as this house. And I bought 2 tiny house trailers before I even bought these containers to do just that. And it was my hope that I would have building materials left over to use to build those houses. That's looking like not so much the case anymore. I have been buying everything like the exact amounts that I need, and usually less, and I usually have to go and get 1 or 2 more of whatever I need. So yeah, there's not really building materials left over. So I'm gonna have to reevaluate how I build those houses, but I know from doing this build that I have gained so much experience in working out how to utilize the things that are around me. For example, if trees happen to fall here one year or whatever, I can definitely mill them and use the wood. I know how to get a lot of things off Marketplace for a great price. I've actually got heaps of flooring, more than I need for the container house, and I'm not even sure if I want to use it in the container house if I've got enough of the mill timber that I have for floorboards. So I've got lots of flooring that I can use in the tiny houses. So that is the plan after the container build. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I fund it, or if there'll be any money left over in the budget, but I'm not sure. We'll get to that one soon, that big question. But that is the plan. That is the plan, 2 tiny houses. But along with that, I have a lot of plans for the homestead that I hope to do along the way as well, whether that be during the container home build or when I'm doing the tiny houses. But things like a natural pool, I'm making like a huge natural pool near the shed, like in the ground, so that I can swim in it, and it's gonna be gorgeous with like creatures and plants and all that kind of stuff. And I want to make a massive outdoor bathroom area. I'm going to have the massive secret garden. I'm going to have greenhouses. I'm going to have a movie area, camping area. I'm hopefully going to have a tiny house area maybe. I want to have like gazebos and nets in the trees and tree houses and little huts, like cob houses type thing. And yeah, just lots of little secret areas and pathways and make it really whimsical, I reckon. And yeah, I'll have to get to those like one by one as I go, but the most important thing at the moment is the house, so all the focus is on that. But I definitely have lots of things to do here and then with the tiny houses when I'm complete with the container home build. But then I also have ideas for things I would like to do after. I would also love to do something like get a riverboat or a sailing boat or something like that to do up, and either have, yeah, to do for trips or something along those lines. Sell maybe if I wanted to, but I would love to do trips on it. That would be awesome. And also I would love to do up like some kind of truck to travel around in as well, that was like fully set up with all the gear, all the bells and whistles. Oh my gosh. So yes, I have a lot of plans for this place and then other plans for outside of this place as well. So very exciting things, but I definitely plan to continue to build and to share all my builds and adventures on here, whatever they may be, after I finish building my container house and hopefully living very comfortably in it. Somebody said, where do you find the time? And this is a very valid question. I am not going to lie, you have to be extremely dedicated time-wise to do something like this. I have literally dedicated every waking hour that I have 7 days a week to this build and to everything involving this build. And that has been, yeah, for the last year and a half or whatever it is, to try and get this built as fast as possible. And it still takes a very long time, and that is a lot of focus on one thing for a very long time. It takes so much dedication and just giving up everything else, I guess, to focus on it. So it's not about finding the time, it's literally making the time. You have to make it, and you have to get rid of other things that you probably enjoy, and you just have to tell yourself that it's just temporary, and you're giving up things on a temporary basis so that you can have them back in even plentyfold, you know. And it's for future you, not current you, and that's how you have to look at it. And you just have to trust yourself that it is going to be worth it for the future, and you'll never find enough time. There could always be more hours in a day, that is for sure. I wish there was. I wish I didn't have to sleep, but unfortunately I am human. But yes, definitely don't want to sugarcoat it. If you want to build a house yourself, solely yourself, or probably not even solely yourself, I don't know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of time. I saved up enough so that I could take a year off work and not touch my home build budget, but have enough so that I could live very minimally. And then it took a lot longer, but luckily in that time I started this YouTube channel, and now I get paid just a bit from YouTube for views and that kind of stuff. But YouTube is the only platform that pays me, so it's all just based solely on YouTube, and that's why I do spend most of my time for filming for YouTube. So that's how I'm able to continue to build and, yeah, not have to just do it part-time, which I'm so grateful for, because I don't know how long it would take if I had to do it part-time, but I'm guessing a very long time. Alrighty. Next question. These questions are so good. So this is a good question and like practical. So where are you getting all your, like, what are you doing about utilities, water, electric, gas? So water, I've got my rainwater tank that you've seen, that I've temporarily connected my gutters with like a temporary downspout system to my rainwater tank, but that's going to be connected by the plumber permanently, and that's how I will get all of my water. And then for electric, solar, and then won't be any gas, there'll be no gas, so it'll be for like cooking and stuff, will be either electric, but it will probably just be that my wood fire stove, so actually wood, which will be pretty cool, but otherwise electric. Yeah, so that'll be it. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'm also hoping that the wood fire oven can heat my water too, which would be quite cool, but I still have to speak to the plumber properly about it. Somebody's asked, what job do I do beside building my container house? So before this I said I owned a bush school, so I'm a teacher. Taught for over 10 years, and yeah, that's what I've always done. And I owned the bush school for a few years before I started doing this, but like I said, I had to leave everything behind, so I haven't done it for a little while now, and I do miss it a little bit. Just mainly the kids, they bring a lot of joy to my day. I love being around kids. They are just the light of the world. It has been my favorite skill to learn. I've got this question a few times, and I would definitely say welding. Welding is such a good skill to learn if you want to, if you've been thinking about it, any inkling. It's such a good skill to learn. Just go for it. Don't be scared about it. I was worried. I thought it was dangerous. I don't know why, but it is way easier than you think, and you will not regret it. It is going to open this whole world of like things you can create and make and fabricate, and yeah, it's incredible. You'll have so much fun, and you'll get the hang of it way quicker than you think you will. So definitely welding. I am going to answer one more, and then I need to go water the plants, because yeah, it's got to that time of the year where it's like sunny enough that I have to water them now every day. So let's do one more and then go water the plants, and then I need to answer that big question that I know everyone wants to know. And to be honest, yeah, I had to kind of sit down and really look through it to get this answer for you guys as well. But yeah, I'm excited to get to it. So one more, and then let's go move and do these plants. Oh, I like this one. Okay, I like this one. So this one says, how much storage will your container home be hiding? And I love that hiding part, because that speaks very true. I'm going to have a lot of hidden storage, and I don't know if I want to spoil it and tell you guys just yet, but there's going to be some standard stuff, you know. There's going to be like, I think, shelves near the stairs, down the bottom and up the top. You know, in the spare bedroom there'll be a wardrobe thing, but there'll also be something else. And yeah, but then I've got some pretty unconventional ideas. Like, I am going to do stuff like under the bed. I think I'm going to have it so the bed like comes up on gas struts, and then have storage under there. But I also think I'm going to do something else pretty cool in the bedroom for storage, and then also something else in the lounge room area that's going to be pretty cool for storage as well. And also, but on top of that, there's definitely going to be a lot of space under the container house, and I'm going to be closing all of that in with all those container panel cutouts. So they're going to go all around the deck, and then I will have an area that opens as well that has doors, and I'll be able to lock them and everything, so that's all safe. But it'll be like an extra storage area, shed type thing, so that will be handy as. Let's move, let's go water the plants, see how they're going, and then I will answer your big question. Okay, the plants are all watered, and I'm just going to answer one more here before I get to the big question of the budget. And this one is one that might help people out if they want to do the same thing. So how do you go about it? The first step is you need land. So if you want to be an owner builder, you have to have land. You can't be an owner builder without owning land. Second step is you need to become an owner builder. That's really easy. You just do an owner builder course. You get a white card, and that's it. You can apply to be an owner builder, and you'll probably be granted. Then the next step is you go for building approval. So now that you're an owner builder, now that you've got land, you get your plans together, you get a draftsman, you get an engineer, you get whatever you need for your area. And then once you have those plans, you can apply for the approval and basically go from there. They'll tell you when you need inspections and all that kind of stuff. It's actually a way more straightforward process than I would have ever thought before I realized what it was. Like, when I was thinking about doing it, I was like, oh, it's going to be so hard. Like, what's this process going to be like? I have no experience, so surely they're just not going to let me just do it. But no, they do. They definitely do. Like, but that's why they have inspections, so that they can make sure the work is done to the standard that it needs to be done to. Otherwise, you won't move past that stage, and then, yeah, you won't get your house built until each stage is perfect and passes an inspection. Okay, are we ready for the big burning question? the question of budget, and it is a big question because the only reason I'm able to do this build is because I'm on a tiny budget of 100,000 Australian dollars. I do not have any more money to do this build. No more has really come in. I'm just have enough to like live week by week. So I have to stick to this budget or this house will not get completed. So it's very, very important, and it has been extremely hard to stick to, but I have gone through all my receipts, all my bookkeeping, everything like that, so that I could get together costs for you, so I could tell you how the budget is going. So let's do this. The footings. So I've got all the big costs here for like all the big things I've done throughout the build. Let's start with the footings. Now remember, I got quoted over $60,000 for this, and I was able to do it in under $6,000. Then the containers delivered and placed. This included a crane and all that kind of stuff. Delivery from very far, and used shipping containers. This was about $21,500, so that was a big one, but it was always going to be. And then the timber mill. This was very important because it meant that I could mill all this timber that I'm using throughout my house and is saving me loads of money. And that was $3,000, just over. Windows with double glazed glass. So the windows by themselves were just over $3,000, and that was antique Jarrah windows, hardwood. But then I needed to get double glazed glass swapped out into them. I found the double glazed glass on Marketplace for a very good price though. And luckily I had family friends in the glazing industry who were able to swap out the glass for me. So in total for that, it was just under $5,000. So that worked out very good because I got quoted like $77,000 or $78,000 for windows. Okay, the connecting the containers with steel. So this included like connecting it all internally and externally with like all the steel flat bar that I use. So that was just over $600. Okay, the skillion roof. So this includes all the steel, the roof sheets, the paint, the silicone, the trims, the gutters, the fascias, the bolts, all this kind of stuff. I did well here because I also got my roof sheets off Marketplace secondhand, so I saved loads of money there. So all up it was under $3,000, which I think is very good. Now the rest of the steel I kind of got like in a big bunch of it from Marketplace, and so I've just grouped this all together as all the steel. So this includes steel for the rooftop deck, for the wraparound deck, but also for the window frames and the door frames, so like steel angle for all that type of stuff for the bedroom door that I'm making. And that was about $7,500, just over $7,500. So that was a big one, but that can expect to be, but it worked out a lot cheaper than timber here, and you can't use timber here like I mentioned before. Okay, another one, the underdeck drainage system. That's just over $700. The scaffolding, I needed that to do everything on my build. Otherwise removing all the rust, doing all the windows and doors up there and all that kind of stuff wouldn't be possible. That was just under $3,500, so $3,300. Now my last big one, and this is a big one too. So this includes like all the tools and materials for the builds, like things like my welder and the grinders and like, yeah, tools, power tools that I've bought to do the build. A lot of these I have got off Marketplace for a very good price. Some of them, like the welder, I bought brand new though because I knew I would need it because I'm just going to be using it so much. So I bought them brand new, and I have spent a bit on this, but I also did get a lot of materials for either free or a very good price from Marketplace, or I was able to make a lot of them too, like, you know, my decking boards or my floorboards. So for tools and materials, it is just under $10K. So that is obviously a big one too. So we've got some big numbers in there, but in total that means I'm around about the 60.5 point. So 60,500, around about there, give or take. And I still have quite a bit to do. That is a given. So I'm about 60% of the way through, which is pretty scary to think about since I know there's no more money coming in. But I feel like I'm doing good. I feel like I've got a lot of the things that are like those big ticket things, like big money things, like the windows and doors and hopefully all the decking and, you know, like all the wood for in the house. And so I feel like the big ones will be, you know, paying the plumber and the electrician and all of that, because everything else I can kind of, you know, figure out cheaper ways to do things, which really helps me out. So here's to hoping the things that I have to pay for, like the plumber and electrician or inspections, like those types of things, hopefully they don't surprise me too much in the future with their price. And if so, I feel like I will come pretty close to budget. I'm hoping I come like spot on, but I feel like that's pretty far-fetched to hope for. But I'm hoping I come very close. And it may just mean like slowing down the process in the last bit while I like save a little bit of money or whatever it is. To be fair though, oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about like furnishing the house or stuff like that. So yeah. Let's not think about that right now, but yeah, that's the budget. I feel like I'm doing well. We're just gonna have to see what comes up in the future. My estimations for how much things have cost have been a bit off because I didn't have much experience, but then I've always found a way to do them cheaper, which meant doing them myself or finding cheaper materials or something like that. So I've always been able to make it work out for a cheaper price, thankfully, but that wouldn't be possible everywhere. A lot of that is to do with the items that are on my property, like the trees and the xanthoria resin and all that kind of stuff, clay. So yeah, a lot of this stuff has saved me a lot of money. Marketplace is also a huge money saver. Huge fan sometimes. Sometimes it can be sucky. Some people suck and do bad sales, but that's okay. You know, it's all part of the process. So yes, I hope I have answered some of your questions. I know I couldn't get to all of them, but I tried to answer ones that I was getting asked multiple times, or that would be useful in relation to the build, or if you wanted to do this yourself, or just this journey in general, I guess, which has been pretty crazy. I did think it would be over by now and that I would be in that house, but I am enjoying the journey so much, and I'm really not kind of thinking about the time frame now. I know I am moving as fast as I can, and that's all I can do. So I'm just enjoying each day as it comes, taking each new step as it comes, which is all very exciting. I love doing each new part of it, and yeah, I'm just enjoying the journey. I'm just taking it all one day at a time and just frothing on each part of it and taking it all in. But that end goal still seems crazy far away to me. I still can't even imagine sleeping inside the house and it being a house, but I know it's going to get to a point like around framing time, just after type thing, where I'm going to go, oh my gosh, this is a house and this is real. So I'm pretty excited to get to that stage. And like I've mentioned before, I have some very exciting things going on in the interior, so I'm excited to get to those too, get to a bit more like littler, fiddlier scales, craftier and colourful, and yeah, and not so much the bones of the house. And I also just want to say a big thanks for you guys for watching every single week and making it possible so that I can get this little bit of money from YouTube, from the views, to live and eat while I continue to build this house. It has been an incredible journey, and I can't wait for the second half, and I can't wait to share it all with you and see what more skills I can build in the second half of this journey and really watch this house become a home. Thanks for spending time with me, and I will see you next Sunday.